Sicon Contract sits as an integrated module directly within inside of Sage 200. It links to sales order processing and stock. Primary couple of purposes for this module are for allowing you to do repeat invoicing very simply and quickly, as well as deferred revenue. So the starting point of this particular module is about setting up your P&L and your balance sheet where all of that deferred revenue and potentially costs could go to. And this is done initially at the product group level. By determining which of our stock items are then a maintenance contract item, that will then automatically instigate a repeat sales order template for us. So there's a couple of ways in which we can generate a contract, whether that's directly within the contracts module itself, or as you'll see off the back of a sales order. So that's perhaps where you have instances where you need to invoice multiple items at the same time, whether that's for maybe hardware or software, and you want to invoice the maintenance contract all at the same time. So we're now in standard Sage sales order processing. As you can see, I've added my first line, which is essentially something I'm going to invoice as a one-off situation, but my second line is something that I want to generate as a repeat contract. So you'll see, because we've identified this as a maintenance contracted item, it automatically populates through some additional information for me. The first of which is the contract details. So the typical price and quantity, which can automatically pull through for you if you wanted to, price interval, delivery date. If we have a different contact, we can pull that through as well. When is the contract actually starting? And then all we're simply doing is we're then saying, what's the duration of that contract? We can do it as a rolling contract, which means there's no specific end date. And what's the frequency of our invoicing? Do we want to invoice it once a year, or as I've got here, we want to invoice it on a monthly basis? You've also got the option to do a pro rata, so perhaps in instances where you've got an existing contract and you want to align any new contracts with the same end date. So you'll now see it's automatically summarised the contract details at the bottom of the screen for me. I can also capture some additional analysis code. So you'll see the first thing that's actually popped up here is automatically pulled through a summary of that contract period for me. So this is some additional information that can auto-populate into the sales order and invoice for me. So these are just an example of some analysis codes that you could use. These are completely configurable. So all I've now done is I've invoiced this in the normal standard Sage way. And when I come to post that invoice, you'll see we've just got this extra little pop-up that populates through that update contract. So all we're going to do is we're going to process that, and that's now posted the invoice, but also pulled that information through into our contracts module. So having invoiced and posted that now, you'll see if we come into the contracts module, this is actually linked it to an existing contract. You've got a couple of options, whether it creates a brand new contract, or if it sees it's the same customer as we have here, it will simply add it to an existing contract, but it creates a secondary line. So you'll see we've got a sales order that we've literally just generated that's linked. So there's the sales order that we've just generated, and we can drill down to see that separately. And there's the sales order that's been generated. And as suggested, there's our second line that's now been generated off the back of that. Now, if we come and have a look at that information, we can drill into it to see the summary that's been populated through from the sales order. So we've got the quantity again and the price, contract start and end date. We've said we want to invoice this monthly, even though the period of the contract is over 12 months. We can see the planned sales orders if we create a forecast off the back of that. So because we're saying we want to invoice it monthly, it's automatically populated that through. There's some configurable analysis codes and additional details against the contract. You can call these anything that you like. We can amend the contract from within here. So you'll see whether that's renewing, or we want to increase or decrease the contract, or price amendment, or do a one-off credit. Similarly, if we want to do some renewals, we can change the price, but there's an easier way of doing that through the main menu, which I'll show you later on. As this is linking to standard Sage SOP analysis codes, we can pull that through. And as you saw earlier on, we've got that capacity to be able to have contract line analysis codes as well. When we need to do a back-to-back order to a supplier, there's the ability to link it to all of our suppliers on the purchase ledger. And again, in exactly the same way as we're saying what's the period of the contract from a customer and a revenue perspective, we're doing exactly the same in here as well. So we're saying what's the period of that contract, and then there's the ability to be able to produce a purchase order off the back of that as well. Where you're using this in conjunction to Sicon projects, there is the ability to consolidate all of that information in. So your projects module becomes your reporting tool to look at your work in progress. So looking at your committed cost, your actual costs, and similarly your committed revenue and actual revenue. So your committed revenue will be the whole of the contract value, and your actual revenue will be as you start to invoice it, dependent upon the invoicing frequency, whether that's monthly, annually, quarterly. So if we do then want to come and update our renewal prices, rather than having to do that manually line by line, contract by contract, I can do this by either by my SOP analysis codes, or if we've defined a customer or even a contract line analysis code, or we can even do that by the product group, or indeed we can do it by customer specifically. And as you'll see, I can use the standard Sage pricing bands, or I can just simply apply a percentage increase to this. So if we said I want to increase this by, let's say, 3%, and all we're going to do is calculate the renewal prices, and it will automatically update the renewal prices for us. So when we then process and generate our repeat sales order, it will process it at that new updated price for us. So a very quick and simple way to do that. So when it comes to generating those repeat sales orders, so the ones that we now need to invoice, again, very simplistic way of doing that. So show me all the orders that are due before the selected date. Again, we can filter by various fields, whether it's the contract number, type, the customer, or again, all of those different analysis codes. And you'll see it's now automatically pulling through the contract details for me. So to include the customer name, the contract number, the description, obviously the details of that contract and the next due date, the cover bill from and to, and the quantity and the amount. And there's that one that we need to do renewal for. So very simply, I can select all, of course, literally process the selected contract, and that will then generate my repeat sales order for me. And then you're just simply using standard Sage SOP to do your invoicing run. There we go. There's our sales order generated. So one of the other advantages of contracts is to be able to do your monthly journal posting. So rather than having to keep these manually on a separate Excel spreadsheet and then manually doing your posting of your deferred revenue, all of this can be managed very simply by just clicking the post button. So it looks at the total value on your balance sheet nominal account that you defined in the background. It looks at the monthly equivalent for you. And then you'll see if I show you an example of that, it will then show me the balance sheet nominal account and the P&L that it's then going through to. So it's showing you the debit and the credit. And if we drill down to see the transactions, I can see the deferral that's happened already or is about to happen. So again, it's just automatically populating through the monthly equivalent for me. So we've got our balance sheet nominal account that it's taking that amount out of, and the amount that it's then going to post into the P&L. And we can do that with our costs as well. So if we want to post our deferral of our costs, we can do the same on that. All I then do is click post. There we go. It's now done the journal posting for us. We've got some summary information, so we can see the deferred income over the months, we can see the deferred cost over the months, and if we move along the tabs, you can see month by month the amount that's going to be posted onto our P&L. But we can also look at that by customer and product, and have a look at it by our annual contract. We can see the contract value by product. If we're trying to analyze our contracts, it gives us a little bit more information. So as you can see, we've also got deferred income by customer, by product. That's a really good way of being able to analyze that information to see where the majority of your contract revenue is coming from. And is it specific customers or is it specific products? I can then have a look at my reconciliation, so we can see again the nominal account and what's outstanding to be deferred and what's waiting to be posted and the variance. Just a couple of other things to mention. There is the ability to send out reminders, renewal reminders. So before you generate that sales order, you're just simply defining what your first reminder period is. So that could be 60 days ahead of when it's due to be invoiced, and second reminder, as an example, could be 30 days ahead. So, where we have associated a contract as a back to back scenario to a supplier, you'll see we have this very simple way of being able to produce a purchase order. And again, I can filter that by a supplier specifically, or I can filter it by a contract number. And then all I'm basically doing is saying print. So, there's that last one that we generated, and that will just simply produce a purchase order in standard Sage purchase order processing for us. As you'd expect, there's a whole series of reports that come out of the box for you. All of these are specifically designed in standard Sage Report Designer. So if you need a specific format, then that's something that your business partner can design for you. In the typical standard Sage Report Designer format, you've got the filter options, as well as the ability to be able to print, email, or export, and of course save. So this is just a typical example of a contract summary export. Any further information, please refer through to our help and user guides or have a chat with your Sage business partner.